And we are live on the Galaxy Man Show interview show with Sylvester McCoy. Hello, Sylvester. It's an incredible
Hello.
show for tonight. We'll dive right into the questions now, Sylvester.
Yes.
So you're in this incredible film called The Owners. What was that experience like filming The Owners?
Well, it was great, really. I mean, yeah, hugely enjoyable because all the actors, we all got on incredibly well, and the director was such a nice chap. Although he did know what he wanted, and he worked hard to get it. But so it was very pleasurable. I mean, I got on so well with Rita Tushingham. We were a double act. I mean, off the screen, on the screen we were, kind of sad or dangerous or whatever way you like to describe us. But we were a comedy double act. We just kept everyone laughing while we were not filming. It's great fun.
Can I just say, Sylvester, you did an incredible job in this incredible film called The Owners. I highly recommend people check it out. What was it like?
Thank you.
What was it? For my next question, Sylvester, what was it like working with Maisie Williams, who has been in Game of Thrones and also Doctor Who? What was it like working with Maisie Williams?
It was terrific, really. I mean, I think she should change her name not from Maisie, but to Amazing Williams. She's quite amazing, really. I mean, she's grown up in the business, and I predict that she will not only be, a wonderful actress, she is a great actress, but that she would become a director and a producer. She knows the whole business, like, I've been in it for 50 years, and yet, I mean, I was awestruck by her knowledge, her instincts, She was great to work with. She was a lovely, lovely young lady. Good fun.
So, for my next question, Sylvester, what platform can people watch The Owners on, and why should people watch The Owners?
The platform, well, that's way above my pay grade. I mean, the only platform I know are railway stations. It's somewhere. It's on. I'm sure anyone that is young and knows how to do these things will be able to find it. At the moment, it's only being downloaded in America for some reason. I don't know why, but it's in America. Where are you?
Australia.
Yeah. So it hasn't come out in Australia yet. I don't quite know. That's, as I say, it's above my pay grade. I don't know how it all works. I just go along, learn the lines, and try to bump into the monsters. Well, at least in Doctor Who, that was my job. But as far as as far as I know, at the moment, it's only been shown in the States. And what was the second part of your question?
Why should people watch The Owners?
Because Maisie's in it. I'm in it. Teresa Tushingham's in it. All the other guys are in it. It's a great, great film, really. It's got a wonderful twist. It's a real. I won't tell you too much about it, but it's been very well received, especially in people who like horror films. Although it's a psychological thriller, but with a bit of horror in it.
Awesome. So for my next question, Sylvester, back in 1987, you were at this first convention of yours called Atlanta, Georgia convention. What was that experience like?
Well, that was amazing, really, because in those days, I didn't know anything about conventions. I mean, the only thing I knew about conventions was I was a great fan of Laurel and Hardy, and there's a famous film in it where they are members of, a bunch of people, what were they called? Sons of the Desert. And they wanted to go to a convention, but their wives didn't approve. So they said instead that they'd won tickets for a cruise. And so they go on the cruise, but they don't actually, they go off to the convention. But the cruise ship sinks. And so the wives think that they're dead. and then they go to the cinema and they watch the news, and there's a news flash of them in this convention. So all I knew was conventions were something to do with Sons of the Desert and Laurel and Hardy. So when I got to Atlanta, it was quite extraordinary, really. I was met by very tall Americans, Georgian Americans, wearing Tom Baker's outfit in a heat wave. I thought, these people are crazy. They had big wigs on, big hats on, big scarves on, big coats on, and it was, big heat. The ladies were more sensible. They were dressed more like Leela, and just, not very much on. Although they were rather wobbly, those ladies, Michelin ladies more than anything else. But it was quite extraordinary. I loved it. I mean, I must say, I took to it like a duck to water. So the producer told me after I'd been there, I fell in love with the whole convention world, really, especially the Q&As.
Awesome. So for my next question, Sylvester, what was it like working with the incredible Bonnie Langford, who was Mel in Doctor Who, and what was it like working with the amazing Sophie Aldred as Ace?
Well, both, yeah, equally amazing in different ways. Bonnie I had worked with before. We'd spent a year in the West End in Drury Lane in a version of Gilbert and Sullivan's Pirates of Penzance. And I had married Bonnie every night and twice on Saturdays. So by the time I got to Doctor Who, I knew her. We were friends. And that was great, because to go into Doctor Who, I knew no one else, but I knew Bonnie. And so she was a great help to get me kind of grounded into it. So that was lovely. And then Bonnie decided she wanted to leave, and Sophie came and took her place. And Sophie and I just hit it off. We just became instant friends, and she laughed at all my jokes, and she still does. 35 years or more later, she's still laughing at my jokes. So it was terrific, Yeah.
Awesome. So for my next question, Sylvester, what was it like seeing the Candyman on set of the episode The Happiness Patrol? And what was it like shooting your Doctor's last episode called Survival?
Well, Candyman, I quite liked the idea that something that is sweet and people love turns out to be a monster. I think that was quite fun. Doctor Who did that a lot, didn't they? They kind of made common things like, kind of those dummies, Taylor's dummies became horrific monsters. That world I always enjoyed. So it was great. The only problem was the sweet company who made Licorice Allsorts, because he was Mr. Licorice Allsort, really. They were up in arms about it. They were going to sue the BBC, but the BBC managed to talk them out of it. As far as doing the last one was concerned, Survival, I really enjoyed that because it was in location, and we had great fun making it. I didn't know it was the last one. We didn't know that was the last one because they had already twisted my arm to do a 4th season, and I agreed to do it. So I went off thinking I was going to do another 4th season, and then they decided not to. So I was a bit miffed. But hey, I was an actor. You get over that.
Oh yeah, and you were one brilliant, incredible Doctor, by the way. As the 7th Doctor,
Thank
you were incredible. For my next question,
don't be my agent.
Oh yeah, on to my next question, Sylvester. What was it like filming your regeneration scene in the 8th Doctor's movie with Paul McGann? And what was the emotions you were feeling before you changed?
Well, what it was like was I was so pleased because I'd always wanted a kind of a steampunk type of TARDIS control room. And I got it in the end. I didn't know they were going to do that. And so I arrived in Canada where we filmed it. And there it was, my dream, kind of control room in the TARDIS. I loved it. I also liked the idea of the Doctor alone, kind of quiet and introspective. And I enjoyed playing that way, because all the other doctors, you know, all the other times I played the doctor, it was very adventurous, very physical, very, you know, kind of. But this was much more just sitting, thinking, having a cup of tea, listening to some music, and then everything goes wrong. So I enjoyed that immensely. And since we started doing Big Finish. Every now and again, we do a Big Finish that is kind of inspired by those first 20 minutes of the Doctor Who film. Leaving it, I hadn't been doing it for quite a few years, so I was delighted to come back and hand over to the next actor who was going to be Doctor Who. I was also delighted because the next actor was a friend of mine, Paul McGann. We were friends. And so that was lovely. I was also delighted because when I took over, a certain Doctor number 6, I won't mention his name, Colin Baker, he refused to come along and hand over to me. So I remember thinking, I shall come back and do a regeneration scene no matter what. So I was, in all ways, it was great to do. I enjoyed it immensely. And you know, by then I'd been doing lots of other things, so it wasn't as if I was losing it for a second time. I was just handing it over to a really great friend and actor.
Awesome. So for my next question, back in 2013, you actually shot this Five-ish Doctors reboot with the incredible Peter Davison and Colin Baker. What was that like?
Oh, it was a hoot. It was great fun. In fact, we were in Australia, Paul, Colin, Peter, and myself, doing a convention tour down there when we started the idea, making it. And then he was just filming the convention, really. But then it started to develop, and other people heard about it and wanted to be in it. And by the end of it, we had a better cast lineup than the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who had.
Oh yeah, totally agree on that. Like,
but it was such fun. Colin and I just agree that it was one of the best Doctor Who things we'd ever been in, really. We had such fun.
I actually heard you guys might be making a sequel to that, by the way.
No, I don't think. Well, I've never heard that. I mean, it was very difficult to do again because it was all done for the love of fans. No one get paid any money. You know, people just volunteered to do it because they were miffed not to be in the 50th anniversary, and also they wanted to say thank you to the fans, because the year before, all of us who traveled around doing conventions all over the world, one of the main questions was, are you going to be in the 50th anniversary? We hope you will be. So when it turned out we weren't, it was for that reason we did it. I did come up with the idea, though. I remember thinking, what could we do? And they were at the time they were doing Top Gear. They were getting rid of the old guys in Top Gear, and I said we could try and take over Top Gear. You know, Colin could be the grumpy big fat fella. You know, Peter could be the one with the long hair in between, and I could be the young handsome one. That was my idea.
Awesome. So for my next question and very last question, Sylvester, so if you could be in the 60th anniversary coming very soon with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, what different new things would you want for your Doctor for the 60th anniversary if you could come back?
Well, the thing is, I thought this for the 30th, for 50th. What I think they should do is they should get all the Doctors and have them through the 50th year anniversary in various different episodes, culminating in the final one, so that we might be in disguise as another character, we might be monsters, or we might be helping out. Do you know what I mean? A series of different stories, each Doctor in. So that would be, well, how many of us are there? There'd have to be that many episodes, and then, you know, the final one would be all of us together helping Jodie, who would need no help, to save the universe.
Awesome. Well, can I just say thank you so much? Can I just say thank you so much, Sylvester McCoy? Thank you so much for joining my interview show. Everyone, definitely go support Sylvester and his new incredible film, The Owners, and the other incredible cast members of that film. So thank you so much again, Sylvester. Any last things that you would like to say on the show?
Yeah, I was supposed to be coming to Melbourne last March, I think, but that was put off because of the virus. Then they were going to do it later in the year, but now it's been cancelled. So maybe next January. I'm not sure.
How have you been?
I love going to Australia. I love it.
Yeah. How have you been? Onto that. How have you been like coping in this situation with the virus?
Fine, really. I mean, I was lucky. I got locked down. I was put under house arrest by the president of France, along with the rest of France. I happened to be in France at the time. And so I came for 2 weeks, ended up going back to London after 4.5 months, only for a short time. I'm now back in France again because I live in the top of a mountain in a medieval village. And I feel it's very safe. You know, there's not many people around now. The holidays are finished. It's so medieval that if at night time when it's very dark, if you listen ever so carefully, you can hear the ghost of a tumbrel being dragged up over the cobbled streets and someone crying out, "Bring out your dead, bring out your dead." That's how medieval it is.
Awesome. Well, as I said, thank you so much again, Sylvester. It's been a pleasure
My
having
pleasure.
you on my show, and thank you so much again.
Where are you? Tell me what's going on!
A doctor? Nice big house like this.
There is a ton of cash. We wait till they get back. They give us what we want.
Richard? I want to get out of here, Nathan.
I'm doing this for you, me, the baby.
This won't get you anywhere but prison.
Nathan, don't do this.
Give me the combination.
Richard, no. We have to get into the hospital.
The hospital is 30 miles away. I seriously doubt you could survive the journey. Oh, goodness. You don't look at all well. Please sit here and wait for the ambulance to arrive. Oh, we really must fumigate this place again soon. We're plagued by vermin. Every sort of pest.
We have to get out.
Don't worry. Everything will be fine.
I've told you 1,000 times. Shoes off at the door! She needs to be punished. She'll ruin everything.
Very well. If that's what you want.
Where are you? Tell me what's going on!
Just a few minutes more, and then a lovely long sleep.
This is the Doctor, President-elect of the High Council of Time Lords, Keeper of the Legacy of Rassilon, Defender of the Laws of Time.
Have you never wondered where he came from? Who he is?
He's a Time Lord, I know that.
I am far more than just another Time Lord.
It's like it's some kind of a game and only you know the rules.
Think about me when you're living your life, one day after another, all in a neat pattern. Think about the homeless traveller and his old policeman.
Every time our paths have crossed, I have defeated you.
You couldn't resist it, could you? The game of traps.
We play the contest again.
This act will be the beginning of your end.
Your people were annihilated. Your planet obliterated. You're too late for your revenge. Time has flowed by. Stay back! Two forces only, good and evil. Then chaos. Time is born, matter space. The universe cries out like a newborn. The forces shatter as the universe explodes outwards. The Master, he's out there.
Every great decision creates ripples. Like a huge boulder dropped in a lake. The ripples merge, rebound off the banks in unforeseeable ways.
Nothing even remotely human could have survived that.
That's the point, Group Captain. It isn't even remotely human.
You are the Doctor. You are the enemy of the Daleks.
I am Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. Surrender now, and we can avoid bloodshed.
Hello! I believe you want to kill me.
I will destroy you. I demonstrate the power of the Daleks.
Eradicate them. Nemesis.
And I trust you remember my strict instructions, never to cause any further explosions.
I'm a better person as a result, Doctor.